What is up, guys? Today we will be ranking the top 14 college football stadiums in the SEC. Now, before we start this video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more college football content. Now, we will be ranking these stadiums mostly on size and aesthetics. So that, if you don't know, basically how big they are, how they look, how clean they are, the different type of architectural designs, and a tiebreaker we will use is their atmosphere. But I kind of wanted to focus this more on just what the stadium looks like and the game day experience that it can provide. So with that being said, at number 14 we have the Vanderbilt Commodores as their stadium coming in at 14. Their stadium holds 40,550 people, and overall it's just the smallest stadium in the SEC by far. The second smallest is Kentucky, which has 61,000, so a 20,000 capacity difference. There's only one level all the way around. The Jumbotron is average, to say the best. The press box is very small, very ugly. And then also, most of the time, the away team has just as many fans as Vanderbilt there. The fans do not show up at all. Some positives, I guess you can say it is somewhat nice view. You can, it has like the horseshoe design where there's no stands on one end zone, so you can see some of the buildings on the campus. So I guess that's probably its best feature. And I guess looking at some of these pictures, their Jumbotron is decent because once again there's no stands there, so they have plenty of space for a Jumbotron. And so at number 13 we have Missouri. Now Missouri Stadium has a capacity of 62,621, and overall it's a decent stadium. It's pretty average for an SEC stadium. It's on the low side, but I'd say for a normal college football stadium it's a nice stadium, decent size. They are going through renovations. I don't know if the renovations are done yet. From these pictures, it looks like one of these pictures is done, and it looks good. It's certainly a smaller renovation, but the Jumbotron looks decent in the renovation. One thing that is a nice feature is they have a grass hill with a white M in it with like flowers, and it's also small. It's also that side of the stadium, the end zone is shorter, so you can kind of see a good view of the campus. But I think it's a little bit lazy, honestly. The grass literally goes from one side of the end zone to the other. It's not like Clemson where it's just a short patch. It's literally the whole thing. So that is one thing that doesn't look too great, honestly. And then when there's people on it and all over the M, it doesn't look as good. And the atmosphere can be good when Missouri's good, but in these past few years when Missouri hasn't been all that good, the atmosphere hasn't been all that. And so now at number 12, we have the University of Kentucky's football stadium. Now, I actually like their stadium. It's just held back by their size, but it's a basic stadium. It's very, very similar to a Rutgers stadium, literally the exact same design. They do have some back seating with some chairs in the middle at around the 50-yard line. So that's a nice feature to have. It's good for the fan experience. Their Jumbotron, they have two Jumbotrons on each side, which is very important so that everyone in the stadium can see. The Jumbotrons are nothing special, pretty small actually, but nonetheless very good to have two of them on each side. And just something small, they have really good lighting there. The lights are very good, so the night games look very good there. And yeah, not too much to say. It's just a basic stadium, and it's a simple design, and it looks good. So that's where Kentucky will be at number 12. And at number 11 we have Ole Miss, and Ole Miss has a capacity of 64,038. And some things about Ole Miss: they have only one Jumbotron, so that's kind of a very limiting factor, because literally all the people who are sitting underneath it, like they just don't have a Jumbotron to look at, which is kind of a big deal. I feel like all these big stadiums should at least have two, so that everyone in the stadium has access to look at one. And then just as far as the seating, all of the seating is bleachers, no chairbacks. Yeah, there's no chairbacks there. The one jumbotron they do have is decent size. It looks pretty good. But as far as the architecture, it's pretty basic. It's not quite a bowl, but it's about the same height everywhere around. Nothing too crazy to set it apart. Just another basic stadium. And the press boxes are just, average, nothing bad, nothing good. So yeah, nothing too crazy about Ole Miss Stadium. But anyways, at number 10, we have Mississippi State coming in with a capacity of 61,337. Now, Mississippi State just got some renovations done, and these renovations look very good compared to what they had before. They have two levels on both of the sidelines, and then in one of the end zones they added a whole big bleachers that connects both end zones, which is something they didn't have before, and so that's nice. And they have two big jumbotrons on each side on each end zone, and that's something that is just makes the stadium look very nice. And the thing that really limits the stadium is just the fact that it's not connected all the way through, because on one of the end zones there's just like a little building there with a big jumbotron on it, but there's no seating there, and that's its really big limiting factor. But it's a very clean stadium. I like the chair backs underneath the jumbotron. That's a nice look. So yeah, overall a nice stadium for Mississippi State. And that brings us to number 9, I believe. Yeah, number 9. And at number 9 we have Neyland Stadium. Now I was kind of conflicted on where to put this one, but I just decided size isn't everything when it comes to these stadiums. And although it has a big capacity, around 102,000, the overall aesthetics of the stadium are not too pretty. Some of the ugliest press boxes you'll ever see, just complete boxes. They only have a jumbotron on one side, on one end zone at the very top, and that is something that they obviously need to have two, because they have two whole levels and two decks of people underneath that jumbotron who would just have no access to that at all. So that's a huge thing that just a lot of their fans can't even see a jumbotron. And when you're a big school like Tennessee, you have this massive stadium and you can't even have two jumbotrons that everyone can see. A video screen during the game is just something that shouldn't be happening. However, some positives, like we said, it's a huge stadium. It is a bowl, but it is right along a river, which gives it a nice aerial view, and I'm sure it's probably nice just in a sense of you can tailgate on the river, so that's a cool aspect of it. But some of these aerial shots look pretty nice next to the river, but as far as the stadium itself, it's not too great, honestly. I think it's kind of overrated. And at number 8, this might surprise some people, but I have Jordan-Hare Stadium, which is Auburn's home stadium, coming in with a capacity of 87,451. Now, my reasoning behind this is it's just kind of a simple stadium. The size can't really carry it, because it has good size, but it's nothing crazy, and it's really the same architecture as Kentucky, just to a bigger level, but it's the same thing. It has that whole first level, and then has the two upper decks on the sidelines and nothing on the end zones. So really, it's about the same thing as Kentucky, and I believe they have two jumbotrons. Maybe no, they might only have one actually. Yeah, it looks like they only have one jumbotron, so that's something that's, a big stadium like Auburn, you should really have two. They have a scoreboard, but not quite a jumbotron, so that's something that'll it kind of hinders from the fan experience there, that not everyone can see it. And then yeah, it's just kind of basic. There's nothing that really sticks out to me about it. So yeah, that's number 9. And then at number 7, we have Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. It has capacity of 88,000, and something I really like about this is the color scheme. It's orange and blue all around. You have a lot of the blue, like, little seating. They put like little things on the bleachers, like backs, and then they on the top level here, I'll show a picture. They have chair backs that are blue, and then in the thing it says Florida with orange chairs that spell out Florida. So that's a nice feature. And then I think the architecture is just very cool. A lot of little divots, a lot of upper decks. You have the little things that go in the stadium that'll say like "Welcome to the Swamp" or "Go Gators." I think that's a really cool design. And yeah, I just really think this is a cool stadium. Just a lot of unique features to it, and that's why I ranked it as highly as I did. Also, they have 2 jumbotrons, which is something important, so that all the fans can see the big screens, especially at these bigger schools. That's something that they all should have. And so at number 6, we have Sanford Stadium, home of the Georgia Bulldogs. This stadium holds 92,746. I like the layout of this a lot. It has that horseshoe feel, where you have at least 2 decks. They have 2 decks going all the way around, and on one side they even have a 3rd deck on one sideline, and then on one end zone they only have 1 deck, and that's where they have the big jumbotron. So it's that horseshoe feel, which is a very cool, and I like the architecture structure of that a lot. It's a big stadium. They only have 1 jumbotron though. I don't know why all these stadiums seem to only have 1 jumbotron, which limits a lot of the fans' view of the video screen. The jumbotron they do have is very nice, however. The lighting, if you've ever seen the light show they put on when they hosted Notre Dame, that was very cool. And they always have a good atmosphere here. So a really nice stadium for Georgia, a really nice game to watch a game, and something that all college football fans should really experience a game at Georgia. Just a really good atmosphere and a fun time. And at number 5, this will definitely surprise some people, but I have the Arkansas Razorbacks and their football stadium, which holds 76,212 people, and they recently just got renovations, and they recently had a horseshoe-like architecture, but with one side was just like a building and a jumbotron. They recently renovated that to where there's seating there. Both sides have massive jumbotrons. The architecture is very cool, and the seats are a chair back, which just adds to the fan experience. It's just a nice, it just makes the stadium look clean overall. So you have the 2 big jumbotrons, you have the chair back seating on both end zones, which is a very nice feature. It makes the stadium look nice. And then you have the 2 double-decker bleachers on each sideline. And so just all that together, it looks very nice and clean. If they had a better atmosphere, if this team can really pull it around, the atmosphere there would be really fun, just with all those fans in that cool stadium. And so that's why I had them at number 5. And at number 4, we have South Carolina and William Bryce Stadium, coming in with a capacity of 80,250. Now, this stadium is, once again, downside of it only has 1 jumbotron, so if you're sitting on that end zone underneath the jumbotron, you're kind of out of luck, or you're gonna have to turn around, or to see that. But the architecture, I really like it a lot. On both sidelines, you have big double-decker bleachers, and then on the one end zone, I believe it's triple deckers, it's triple deckers there. And then something that I kind of like, it just has a nice feel to it, is in the corners of all the stadiums, they have those circular ramps which kind of just makes it I don't know, more symmetrical, and that just has a nice feel to it. It's very similar to Alabama Stadium. It's just that it doesn't go all the way around. It was similar to like Alabama Stadium before they got that renovation and got that final end zone upper deck. But one thing that makes it somewhat different is the end zone, where they have 3 layers, and it kind of goes. It's like the Little League logo, kind of the shape, and that's just kind of a cool feature. So it's not all boxy and like normal, something that kind of sets it apart. And then also the atmosphere there is really awesome with the Zombie Nation. It's a cool place to watch a game for sure. And at number 3, we have Bryant-Denny Stadium. Very similar to the one we just saw. However, the capacity is much larger at 101,000. And it has a very NFL vibe to it. Just the symmetry is very symmetrical, and you actually have 4 jumbotrons. Or I wouldn't say jumbotrons, maybe screens, because none of them are really all that huge, but they're at an angle so that everyone can see a screen, which is important. And then all the corners have those circular ramps, which just give it a cool look, and kind of just like get once again a symmetrical feel to it. And they have a lot of chairback seating on the upper decks, which just adds to the satisfaction of the fan, and just makes the fan experience better, and just makes it look cleaner overall. And it's just big, so that also makes it look nice. So that's why I have Alabama Bryant-Denny Stadium at number 3, just given its size and how it looks, and also the lighting they have. They have a similar light show to Georgia, so that's a fun thing to witness in person if you ever get the chance to. And now the top 2, a lot of flipping back and forth here, could go either way. 2 very, very nice stadiums. Both, I'd say, in the top 5 college football stadiums in the country. But at number 2, I'm going with Kyle Field in Texas A&M, the biggest stadium in the SEC, with a capacity of 102,733. So that is very very nice. And they just got renovations, which connected the entire stadium. Before, it was just 3 levels on each sideline, but they were able to add a big set of bleachers on the end zone that there was previously nothing there, and then they were able to connect all of these pieces together to make it all enclosed, which really makes it look real nice. And then just like the sheer size of the stadium is probably the biggest in terms of like height and like actual like square footage, because like it is 3 levels high all the way around. The reason it's like similar in capacity to like LSU and Alabama and these other schools is because Texas A&M has a lot more chairbacks, which means like bigger space for each individual person to sit, which means like obviously less people in a certain amount of space. But that feature makes the crowd just more comfortable and just a better experience overall. And the jumbotrons they have similar to Alabama. They have two smaller jumbotrons on 2 of the corners, and then on top of one end zone they have a big one. So that's good. They have nice jumbotrons as well. And the number 1 stadium, I'm sure to no surprise, is the LSU Tigers, aka Death Valley. Just one of the nicest stadiums in all of college football, honestly. The architecture is really nice. From the outside, it kind of has like kind of like the Coliseum type vibe with the columns, and then just on the inside with their new renovation, the end zone just looks so cool. You have all these different layers, and you have chairback seats, and you have the 2 little jumbotrons in there, and then it just like there's a lot going on over there, so it looks real cool. And then in the sidelines, you don't just have like normal, like just a normal set of bleachers. It's like divided up kind of, and you have three different entrances to like go find your seat, which makes it a lot easier to get into your seat and leave. So that's just a nice feature to have for the fans. It's easy to get out. And then as far as jumbotrons, they have the one big one on one of the end zones, and then on the renovated side they have two smaller ones, but that gives all the fans a good view at any jumbotron. And also just the size of the stadium is massive. It holds 102,000 people, which is big, and I'm sure they pack way more in there. And just one of the best things in my opinion about it is the entrance, because when you walk out, you are facing the direction of the renovated side, and you see the huge height of the stadium. You see the Welcome to Death Valley, and it's a really intimidating place to play. And you're also entering through the LSU student section, which is just also, something cool. And also the atmosphere at LSU is one of the best in the nation. So that's why, for all those reasons, that's why I have LSU at number 1. And thank you for watching this video. Let me know what you think should have been higher rated or lower rated. And yeah, so leave some comments down below on how you think the ratings were. And please leave a like and subscribe for more college football videos. And thank you.